Hi everyone. Let me guess. Your mind feels like it's always racing, like you're trapped inside your own thoughts, constantly playing out every possible scenario, every worst case outcome, and no matter what you do, it doesn't stop. It's exhausting, right? And then people tell you to just stop overthinking, like it's some switch you can flip. You smile, nod, and say, "Yeah, I know." But deep inside, you're screaming, like, yeah, if I could stop, don't you think I would have by now? This video isn't another 5 tips to beat anxiety. It's not a checklist, it's something deeper because anxiety and overthinking are not surface problems. They come from something fundamental inside us. And when you finally see that clearly, everything shifts. Here's what most people miss: overthinking isn't about being weak, it's not a glitch. It's actually your brain doing exactly what was trained to do. In a world that taught you to fear failure, to fear being wrong, to fear regret, overthinking is actually your mind trying to protect you but going into overdrive. And anxiety, that what happens when you're stuck between who you are and who you think you should be. It's the emotional tension of possibility, of knowing deep down that you're meant to move, but feeling paralyzed by the weight of the unknown. See, we think anxiety means that there is something wrong with us, but actually, it means something wants to wake up in us. And overthinking, it's just a noise that drowns that voice out. Now, I want you to picture something with me for a second. Let's move away from the theory and into something real. Imagine you're at the edge of a cliff. You're not about to fall, there is no one to push you, but you're frozen. Why? Because the moment you realize that you could jump, that freedom becomes terrifying. That's anxiety. It's not the fall that scares us, it's that we have the power to jump, and that's overwhelming. Overthinking becomes the mind's way of stalling. It spirals, it replays, it loops, not because you're incapable, but because you're deeply aware that your next move actually matters. We live in this strange tension between wanting absolute certainty and craving freedom. But the mind, it can't hold both, so it spins. Now, if you're still with me, let's go deeper because this isn't just a brain pattern. This is about your relationship with life itself. Here's what nobody tells you: anxiety is often a crisis of meaning, not just fear of the future, but fear that maybe none of this means anything or that your choices are all wrong. And what do we do when life feels meaningless? We overthink. We try to calculate our way to certainty, like the right thought will save us from the discomfort of not knowing. But that's a trap, because the more you try to solve life like it's a math problem, the further you drift from actually living it. I have had moments where I felt like I couldn't trust my own thoughts. They had turned against me, pulling me down the rabbit holes, convincing me of stories that weren't true. And the more I tried to control them, the more they controlled me. Have you ever been there? It's like your mind becomes this courtroom, and you're both the witness and the one on trial. Every thought is an argument, every decision feels like life or death. But here's the truth: overthinking isn't clarity, it's avoidance. Avoidance of fear, of being wrong, of responsibility, but also avoidance of freedom. Because real freedom means owning the unknown, and that's where real breakthrough begins. So let us get honest now. If we can't stop these thoughts instantly, if we can't guarantee safety or certainty, then how do we move forward? We shift the relationship we have with thought. You don't need to silence your mind, you need to stop worshipping it. Your thoughts are not the voice of truth, they're just noise until you decide what matters. And anxiety, it stops ruling you the moment you realize you don't have to have it all figured out to take the next step. You don't have to eliminate fear, you just have to walk with it. Here's something I often say, and it's not a motivational stuff. You don't need clarity to move, you need courage to move without it. Every time you choose action over analysis, you reclaim your power. And it's not one big decision, it's hundreds of tiny shifts. Getting out of the bed when your mind says no, making that call that tightens your stomach, letting go when you want to control. That's the real work. If you're stuck in your head right now, if you feel like your thoughts are louder than your life, just pause, breathe, and remember you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts, you are the one watching all of it, and you have the power to step out of the loop, one breath, one choice at a time. Overthinking will tell you to wait, anxiety will beg you to control, but life is waiting for your yes, not your perfection. Let that be the moment things begin to shift.